Hello everybody and welcome for a new episode of Kerbal Space Program. So today we are starting great, excuse me. So this is a SSTO, but at my version it's not like plane taking off, it's a rocket but single stage to orbit SSTO. Of course it doesn't work because it's way too heavy, it's why even the Starship SLS has two stages. Yes, you have the Starship and it's not, oh, Starship SLS, it's not the right thing, it's Starship and the big booster. So yes, I do not remember the names because it's Starship S27 and B8 for example, so they just call that the booster. So we have some thrust limiter. I'm trying to modify all the options to get it right, but it will never get to orbit with a payload as EV, as a full space station, because this thing was meant to go on the moon and then come back to Earth with moon fuel, but it doesn't work, so it will just go into space and go back on Earth. It's just a suborbital mission. We can do like Virgin Galactic. I will do that for the next video. Something that will be launched from a big plane and that will launch like a rocket. It will be an interesting idea. I will make that for the next video. But for now, we are just deorbiting, so just let's break with that because I completely forgot to get some fuel back and remaining for the back mission. So we are very fast, but this thing is meant to survive at those temperatures, so it's right. We are at 4,000 meters above the ground, 1,000, and then we crashed. Yes, 200 meters per second, it's way too much for that, so it doesn't resist it. Then I made some moon base. I was going to make a stationary moon base, but I don't like the idea. I don't want to make a base at one place because I don't know where is a lot of fuel to make some fuel mission to the moon and back. So I just made an entire moving rover, and I thought that make the wheels bigger than usually will be a great idea. So I used the biggest wheels that we can use, but it's not throttable, so I needed to just put some things on it. But here we go, the rocket is inside of it, the rover, the moon thing, you can call it whatever you want, but it's inside of this, so it's not very beautiful, but at least it flies. We can see that this thing has two boosters and we passed just above the moon. We have a nice flyby with the camera mode. I think it's like a bug, but it's so beautiful that this might be something that was expected. I don't remember the normal word. So we can pretty quickly detach the solid booster right now, decouple this, and we can continue our trajectory. We passed 1000 meters per second. No, we don't pass it, we stopped just before, and we won 100 meters of delta V like this by switching to orbit mode. I don't know why. So I tried some camera tools like this flyby, it's awesome. I will use that later on the video, but not every second. So let's just speed up a little bit the time and go back to normal time because we have a lot of delta V to just encounter the orbit perfectly. So we have some nice flybys, I don't know. So first stage empty, so we have the single engine start off. We are almost at the normal delta V for orbit, so everything looks great. We have the requirements met 100%, so that means that this motor is meant to work on that conditions. We are going to moon orbit because of course we are going to land on the moon. I made some trajectory burns and other, but I have a lot of fuel, so it's not a problem. This will not be an issue if we make that not very accurately. So we have a nice encounter very close to the moon. Like this we will not have a lot of delta V to change. We are closer and closer to the moon. The satellite that's going over the poles, it's not mine. I think it's a mission that I've accepted by misclicking somewhere. But it's not a problem. If I can fix it, it will be a very good thing. So we have some flybys around the moon, and here we are orbiting the moon. I've broke a little bit too much, so we are going to encounter the moon. We can correct a little bit the trajectory because I want to land at least around the equator and not around the poles. So we are nice, we can break a little bit, 200, 150 meters per second. We can decouple this and we make some saves to make sure that we will not crash this thing at the first try. We have two separate boosters on the side. It's because I want this to land just like that. It's my way to land bases. Some YouTubers may use big booster under or over, like Mars rovers on the real life, but I cannot put parachutes and I'm not good enough to put this it's just over my moon base because it will be too dangerous, so I just make this on the side. So we are going to be pretty close. We have some nice camera views. I do really enjoy the views with that mod. We are going to be on a touchdown. I'm using a lot more than needed going to, but here we are. We have a landing. We can decouple this and drive away. So kicking the booster with some wheel attack, and here we go. So we can just use that as a rover. It's a little bit difficult. I had to spend at least 15 minutes trying to get all right because something has to be turned and over, but after finding the option, if you have a rover like this, go on the wheels and click to just set the friction manually, because you need to put that at the maximum level of friction, because if you don't, the rover will sometimes leave the ground and it will just do not affect the speed, so you will not be able to brake really easily or to just drive easily, so it will be a problem. I'm just analyzing a rock on the ground, so I found that this thing was just analyzable, how can I say this? And I can do it twice to get the value from the analyze and the value with the mission. So this is a laboratory, so it's why I just left that for some days working on. After we can look at all the things that we've launched for now, so it's starting to look really nice. We can see a lot of connections here, but just for 3 orbits approximately: the Sun orbit, the Eve orbit, and the Duna orbit, and of course Moon and Kerbal 1. We unlocked with that mission the last parts of the tree, so we finished completely the science tree. So this is a nice point. We unlocked some probes that will be able to make some nice missions, so let's try out one of them. So it's very fast building because this is not the most important part of the mission. I made a little rocket because this will be a kerbin orbit. It's a little bit analyzer for the atmosphere and other. So this will be a north and south pole orbit, so it's a polar orbit. It's made to just pass over all the points of the planet by orbiting like this. It's used for meteor satellites, some to analyze the Earth and all the scientific data are almost all on this orbit. So it's why I'm going on the other direction than usual, so it looks nice. It's very incredible to see the first rocket that we are launching here. Why we don't launch all of our rockets here? It's because we lost a lot of delta V with the Earth's rotation, because we are not going on the right direction, so it's why we don't do that at all times. But this time we had to use that to just save a lot of delta V, because we don't have to control a lot of trajectories on the road. So decoupling the fairing shell, if you have the right word, our periapsis is almost nice, our apoapsis is nice. We will try to make a small orbit. Even if I have fuel to make a big orbit, I want to orbit as close as possible from kerbin, because it looks very nice and it's accurate from real life. Like, I think it's Starlink that's only at 200 kilometers above the sea level, and we are at exactly 200 kilometers above that. Not exactly, but we are at 1 kilometer clean, so we can see a lot of maneuvers here. It's because it was very long to get this very right and correct, because I want this to be correct at the kilometer left, we say in French, but I don't have the English expression for that. Like this, it looks really nice. So I'm pointing on the planet, to the planet, to just open the scanner and make it like it's analyzing really the planet, because we can face it in all the directions and it will not change anything, but I want it to be facing just on the kerbin surface. So we have some instruments, some of them that we already used, that are here just for decoration at a high price. I'm not sure it's a good idea for decoration, and the two ones here are just to analyze where there is mineral and where is the important places to just land, to just find minerals. So we can see that this part of the continent is very nice in minerals and the other one aren't. So we have a nice view with all the colors. You can think about subscribing. I will not force you to do that, but if you can subscribe, it will help me a lot. We have a nice time lapse of all the days that this was working. If you do subscribe, I thank you a lot. If you do not, have a nice day and see you soon, I hope. Enjoy your day, it's the most important. Please consider liking, leaving a comment, and have a nice day.